Welcome to the PHNX Coyotes podcast, brought to you by the one and only Draftkings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Craig Morgan and Steve Peters in Studio B in the daytime. Just what a concept.
I know. It's a little bright in here.
The glare.
the glare on
Sunshine.
shining
You hit the
bright.
like button, but you're not going to like that sweater.
Right on the sweater. We're all...
Petey actually paid money for it.
I did. Little
It
Coyotes
was not a
holiday
donation.
sweater.
It was not like a white elephant gift. He paid money.
Oh, that's
so
a real...
my sweater, I just need everyone to see.
What does it say?
It's Drake, and it says, "We the North Pole."
Okay.
If you know Drake, you'll get that. And the Raptors. It's like a Toronto reference.
Yeah, clearly
Yeah.
Craig and I are.
No, I
That's
do
my
get the
sweater.
reference.
I
It was
love
in my
it.
Spotify.
And you wore your Santa hat, so
I did wear my
you,
Santa hat.
thank you for contributing. Because it is the most wonderful time of the year,
It's
and we're
got
not
pistachio.
talking about Christmas.
I can
It's
do
the
this
No,
World
it's World
Juniors.
Junior time.
It's literally the best.
It is.
Is there any, why is it so great? Why? I love it, but why?
Oh, it's just, I don't, first of all, it's hockey.
Yes.
And it's in this pause. It's kind of cool in a way. I mean, we don't like the reasons behind it, but it's nice that the NHL is paused and all the focus is on World Juniors right now. And there's so much excitement because a lot of these guys are either draft eligible or coming up through systems. So you're going to see all these guys, a lot of these guys anyway, in the NHL. And now you get a chance to see them all on the same stage, playing for their nations, playing for for a lot of these guys, this is the most meaningful tournament they played in their lives. So there's going to be a lot of emotion and a lot of great hockey to watch.
And you know
over
what?
the
It's
next few
best
days.
on best, and we like any tournament. We love best on best. You know, unfortunately, this year's Olympics with the NHL pulling out, it will not be a best on best tournament. And this is, I know Canadian fans are going to say, yeah, but we've got 4 or 5 guys in the league playing that could have played in this tournament. Got it. They could have. And that would make Canada even better. But this is the best in the world. And they're not playing it's not about money. It's not about my next contract. It's about playing for your country. And this tournament is amazing. Like this is my favorite. I love the World Junior Hockey Tournament. And you get to know the guys before they become guys.
Yeah.
Before they're the everyday names. Like
Right.
Zegras last year wins the gold medal for Team USA. And now look at him, on the Sports Center top 10 with his fancy assist. Before that, he was winning gold with Team USA.
Yeah, and you look at all the rosters over all the years, and it's just like the biggest names that the biggest stars in the NHL played in this tournament, and it's just so exciting. It's just full of hope, kind of like the draft. That's how
How much of a tradition, neither of us grew up in Canada actually, and we've heard about it, but how much was this a tradition for your family or people you knew? Yeah.
Huge. It's like that's the thing. It's like, okay, Christmas is done, Boxing Day, you do your shopping, everyone get home to watch the first game of the World Junior Tournament, and it's on in every TV and every restaurant you go in. I mean, I grew up in Toronto. I spent all my winters in Toronto until the last 3 or so years, but it's on in every single restaurant, every TV, everywhere you go. That's what people are watching. Nothing else. That's all people are watching. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a different vibe here in the States, and it's unfortunate because it is the premier players that are going to be playing in the National Hockey League over the next few years. Some of them won't, but there's a lot of players that will, and they'll become household names. And it's really unfortunate that this tournament doesn't get the recognition and the media attention in the United States, and it just won't. I mean, it's this time of year, you got college bowl games, the NBA is in full swing, and you're not going to see it. And in Canada, things shut down for this. This is a big deal. And I was from Minnesota, so we'd still get Canadian TV there, so we were just as dialed in and couldn't believe people weren't excited. But it's been in the States before. The tournament's been in Buffalo,
Right.
Bordertown did great, Grand Forks, 2 hours from Winnipeg, did great. I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where it's going to draw the media attention and the fan coverage that you get when you go up to Canada.
Man, I'd love to see it in the Sun Belt, though. I'd love to see
That
it
would
come
be
down here.
so cool,
Yeah.
especially this time of year. It's so nice out here. I'm sure it'd be a treat.
I'm sure there's players that would like to be here. They're playing Red Deer, Alberta, half the games.
in
We can
Red
play
Deer in December.
Play at ASU and
Right.
Gila River, or
Yeah.
we can play in Red Deer in December.
Exactly.
Yeah, sign me up for this trip.
Exactly. Well, for Coyotes fans, there's just one sign prospect who's going. Dylan Guenther, of course, who was the Coyotes' 9th overall selection in the 2021 draft, will be on Team Canada for this tournament. So, if you're wanting to get excited about the future, we talk about how the World Juniors is just excitement for the future. If Coyotes fans want to get excited, you can check out Dylan Guenther playing for Team Canada. So super excited to see him perform this year.
Yeah, he's been on fire for the Oil Kings. He's averaging over a point a game right now for the Edmonton Oil Kings in the Western League. He's a guy we've shown highlights, on our Twitters.
When the Coyotes are losing 8-2, we retweet videos of Dylan Guenther scoring for the Oil Kings.
Of Dylan Guenther. And you know what? He's a dynamic player that can score. And in this tournament, this is exactly that kind of player that you're looking for, a guy that with some speed, some skill, a guy that can score. He's going to be a big part of what Canada does in this tournament. He's going to be somebody they really rely on the offensive side of the puck.
It's hard to read what they're doing, with these preliminary games before everything matters. Right now, Dylan Guenther is actually on the fourth line. He's been bumped to the fourth line right wing. I don't know if that's going to last. Very early in camp, Bill Armstrong told me he was actually playing center where he's been playing with the Oil Kings. But I don't know. In a way, I don't really care where he plays. This is opportunity for guys like this. And, a lot of people I know look at the World Juniors and wonder what the value is of this as far as projecting their NHL capabilities. And I look at a few things. First off, like you said, it's best on best. These guys play in different leagues all over the world, and it's really hard to compare the leagues. You've got like the WHL and the Q where it's really high scoring, and sometimes those stats are padded. USHL and college hockey, the NCAA, it's going to be more lower scoring, certainly in the European leagues. We'll put them all together on the same ice sheet and see how they can compete against each other, the best against the best. And beyond that, it's a pressure situation. How do they perform when the lights are on, when they're on national TV, TSN in Canada, NHL Network here? How do they perform under that kind of pressure? Those are two really big evaluation tools. Again, it's a small sample, and you can't say, okay, if a guy performs well here, he's going to be a great NHL player. It's a tiny sample, but it can really help their confidence when they go into this and have success. It can be a springboard to bigger things.
And those are the guys that you see that will become household names in northern parts of the United States and all across Canada, that over the next few weeks, these players are going to, they're going to be names that in your house. You're going to be talking about, like we talked about Trevor Zegras last year. They're going to be household names by the end of this tournament. And that means when you're getting ready for the draft, you're going to go, oh gosh, Shane Wright's in this tournament. Maybe he's going to be the guy that breaks out, or maybe it is Dylan Guenther. Like, you just don't know today. One of these guys is going to be a superstar in 2 weeks. Somebody's going to get the game-winning goal in the World Junior Championships, and it's going to be a big deal.
And Brian in the comments had said, like, Hayton blew our minds, when he scored the winning goal for Canada.
With a bum shoulder.
Yeah, with a bum shoulder. Was that 2 years ago in 2019? Yeah. So, maybe that's going to be Dylan this year, maybe someone else, maybe someone that the Coyotes end up drafting. You never know. A lot of players in this tournament are already drafted, but there are some undrafted players, which we will talk about, because as people who follow the Coyotes, that's what we're looking toward is the draft pool and who's a prospect the Coyotes are. Obviously, it's no mystery that this is what they're aiming for, is a top pick. So we'll get to that in a second, but I just want to talk about the prospects that are in this tournament, because we had mentioned that the Coyotes only have one. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes have 10.
It's amazing,
and Sean, I have there we go. So Gord Miller had tweeted out the number of prospects by team and highlighted there Coyotes with 1, Carolina with 10. But you can see kind of there the representation. Not every team has prospects in this tournament too. So
yeah,
good that the Coyotes have 1. So for Coyotes fans to cheer for, but
it struck me, I was looking at the other teams that didn't have, there's 0s and 1s on the board. And other than the Vancouver Canucks, you look at the teams with low, they've all had success recently. Yeah. So they haven't drafted as high. So it's a little disconcerting from a Coyote standpoint, but we know where the Coyotes are in their trajectory.
I tell you what, though, and you look at that when we talk about rebuilding, you talk about the Carolina Hurricanes, who are a premier team in the Eastern Conference, a team that some say may be able to go all the way. We'll see. But to have 10 prospects playing in this tournament, honestly, that's phenomenal. I don't know. That's the highest that I can recall in recent memory. Like, that's a lot of prospects from 16, Connor Bedard, up to 20 years old. That's a phenomenal number. So that's really speaks volume to what they're doing in the scouting and drafting. And as a Coyote fan, we've seen guys perform on this stage from previous drafts, and doesn't mean they're going to play here.
No,
It doesn't mean they're going to be a star here, and it doesn't mean they're going to have success at the next level. You brought that up. But it is always a little feather in the cap to the scouting staff of those NHL teams that have that many prospects in this tournament. And, we're definitely going to be watching Dylan Guenther, but you'd sure like to see a few more guys playing in this. And it kind of speaks to the lack of draft picks in the high rounds over the last 2 years.
Yeah. And when I look at Carolina, too, I think, okay, that's a franchise that not very long ago was really struggling to get a foothold in a non-traditional market. They were really in a bad place. They were one of those teams that people wondered about their future. And now look at Carolina. So if you want hope, take a look at the Carolina Hurricanes, and then remember the Coyotes have all these draft picks. And PD, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I think that this organization has invested more in its scouting department now than it ever has in its history. And you look at the history of some of the people, the accomplishments of some of the people they have on this staff. It doesn't mean it's going to pay off. It doesn't mean they're going to hit on those picks, but there sure is a lot of experience, and there sure is a lot of attention being paid to scouting, which is the lifeblood of any organization.
And that's what translates into this tournament too. So as we talked about the rebuild of the organization taking 3, 4, 5 years to get on track, watch the number of Coyote draft picks and prospects in this tournament over the next 2, 3 years. And I think you're going to see a correlation there. You're talking about the drafts that this franchise has over the next 2 years. I mean, you could see, we're talking about 10 for Carolina. You could see 12. Honestly.
Yeah.
And listen, they're out in their next offseason. I mean, I think if they can execute it, bringing on more contracts, I think they're going to try and do something very similar again next summer. And at that point, I'm guessing Bill will try and push the draft picks out a little bit so that you get this flow coming, and then you've got picks coming to replenish, and then you've created a real path forward.
Well, what I hope happens, and I know it'll happen at our house, is I hope people – I don't expect everybody to tune in to every USA and Canada game. I don't, because people have jobs and lives. Well, not us, but most people do.
We have jobs.
And follow this tournament. It'll be an exciting. It's getting you ready for the Olympics, because it's that same kind of feel. That international competition, and just follow how your team's doing, because I think both the U.S. and Canada have very solid teams. So they're teams that are going to be in the medal round. They're going to be a team. Both teams can compete for a gold medal. So please, if you're a true hockey fan, tune into a game on the NHL Network if you can, because they're incredibly exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Definitely. Caleb had said all that matters is the kids get out of the tournament healthy and that the USA wins. Well, Caleb, I would disagree, because I am currently every day I have to endure sitting with 2 goalies, and now I have to endure sitting with 2 Team USA fans, and I am a Team Canada fan. I'm sorry. I was born there. I was raised there. I'm a Team Canada fan, and I know that Team USA won last year.
Canada's had some
they've dominated this tournament. Who are we kidding?
Well, I mean, over the last 12 years, Canada's had some cute success, but it's not like they're at the top. I think we have a graphic to illustrate this, don't we, Sean?
No,
over the past,
we don't. I didn't. Guess who controls? Guess who controls?
The Team USA graphic did
over
not
the past
make it.
12 years, which nation do you think has won the most World Junior Championships? It's the United States.
Craig said, we should put this in the show. And I said, yeah. And I just literally did it. I literally did it.
So over the last 9 years, Canada, Finland, and U.S. all have 3 gold medals.
Yes.
Over the 9 years. So it used to be Canada's tournament, and they'd win every year.
Right.
And they'd dominate in the history over the Russians at number 2. But I tell you what, we talk about, the parity in the NHL.
It's the Big Five now.
Yeah, it's the Big Five here. So everybody's got a chance to win. I mean, the Russians are in that mix. We'll see. But I'm excited to see if there's an American repeat.
I think we should do a bet right now.
Okay.
So whoever finishes further in the tournament wins.
But don't we have to? Aren't we predicting here?
Yeah. Well,
this is hard for me, because I honestly think Canada's going to win.
I think Canada's going to win this year too.
And part of that is because Finland and the United States number 2 centers are out of the lineup. Thomas Bortolo is not playing in this tournament for the United States. I think it's a big loss for them.
The one thing that could hurt Canada, though, is their preliminary rounds. It's similar to the Olympics, where you play a round robin and your record carries over into the next round for your seeding. The Americans don't have to face Canada or Team Finland in the first round. In the preliminary round robin. Canada, honestly, they could suffer a loss in that first round. Now you're playing a tougher opponent earlier in the medal round, and that's not always a great recipe for a championship. So I think the medal round could be tougher on Canada than people think.
Okay, well,
Rati's out for Finland too. So anyway, that was going to
if you
mention. Go
boo-
ahead. Come on, brother of Coyotes draft pick.
okay, so you're not willing to make a bet with me because you believe Canada's gonna win. That's fine.
I kind of do think Canada's
That's fine.
going to win
But I'm
this
in.
tournament.
What
do you want?
Yeah,
I'm
in.
I'll make a bet.
I'm in.
I'll still stick
Okay,
with Team USA.
Okay, so
the
what?
team that has the most
Well, you're-
titles
yeah.
over the past 12 years. Did I mention that already?
I'm in.
4 gold medals over the past 12 years.
Okay, so what?
You know
what
what?
should the bet be?
I think they've won 3 of them in Canada on Canadian soil. Is it? It's 2 or 3 that they've
Anyway,
won on
and we're back there
Canadian
again.
soil.
We're Red Deer and
why
Edmonton.
why is the tournament in Canada like every other year? By the way,
Craig,
I mean, talk
Buddy.
about a bias and a home ice advantage. I mean, just
what
roll it around
does
the
everything
world.
come back to, Craig? Always in every, it's money. We got the TV contracts. You got
Sure.
SO and Canadian Tire and whatever.
home
it is.
ice. I mean, come on.
Well,
Canada.
there's no fans at the preliminary games because. Of
Oh yeah,
COVID.
no fans because
At the
COVID.
preliminary,
50%
50%
for the rest of the
yeah.
tournament.
Is it?
Yeah, which is a shame. Yeah.
Well,
But
we don't
you
have to
understand
decide.
why.
Okay, well, I'm
Okay,
red,
so
white,
what-
and blue all
so-
day.
bet.
Okay, what's the bet?
I don't know, but I'm red, white, and blue, whatever it is.
Me too.
Team USA. And I will say this, Leah, you're outnumbered here, but I worked in a job where 20 years I was outnumbered every day that this tournament came up. Like the coaching staff in Coyotes history has been very heavily Canadian. And so I'm usually outnumbered 3 or 4 to 1. And that was difficult. And I, of course, as you've gotten to know me, I wasn't very shy about who I was rooting for. So I
Let's-
might have worn some red, white, and blue.
Let's see the photo that year of drunk Petey watching
Definitely want to see that.
watching
Oh boy.
the World Juniors with the rest of the
Yeah,
Coyotes
this is
coaching staff.
2017. This is Clayton Keller versus Dylan Strome, Canada versus the U.S. Gold medal game. Our entire staff went out to Buffalo Wild Wings. And I don't, for those that are watching and not on the podcast, I have one of their crowns and it says goal on it. Goal, 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 goal. So I'd run around Buffalo Wild Wings every time the Americans would score. And we were there with Dave Tippett and John Chaika, and they weren't as animated as I was, to the point that some people were concerned about my job as the night wore on. But I had a cheer for my buddy Clayton Keller. So it was Clayton Keller. I was trying
Sorry
to
if
get
that
Buffalo
hurts
Wild
your
Wings
ears.
going, and
They
it
weren't doing it.
didn't quite catch on in
The
Anaheim.
Buffalo Wild Wings in Anaheim,
In
California
the
wasn't.
first week of January wasn't jumping on board the Team USA train.
Oh my god.
Oh,
So
boy.
I'm all red, white, and blue. We'll figure out the bet later, but I'll take the Americans.
Okay, we'll figure out the bet later. We'll get some feedback from the chat and feedback on Twitter. Tweet at us at PHNX_Coyotes what you think should be the bet.
Just gonna go ahead. pour
Craig's
myself something here.
gonna
Oh
pour
my
his.
God, this is
Do you know
Diva.
how long it took for them to deliver on the contractual obligation
he
of
finally got
Pellegrino?
it from his Secret Santa gift,
I
and
don't
guess
think it's
who?
41
Guess who was
degrees
his
anymore
Secret
because it's been
Santa?
sitting on the table. But yes, that's right. That's
It
what
was
it took.
so funny. We literally did a random office Secret Santa, like a
It's not
randomizer.
random. It can't be random.
It was a randomizer.
It was
And
fixed.
I got Craig and Petey got me. Like, it was so weird. And Petey still doesn't
I
have his
still don't know what I have.
You hear that
I
sound?
still got nothing.
gift.
Crickets on my
yeah.
Secret Santa. I guess we know,
Oh
like, I got
my God.
coal in my Secret
not
Santa
very-
stocking.
That's all I have to say. It's not period.
Well, you're right to think that Canada will probably win because the Draftkings Sportsbook app agrees.
John, that's offside.
Did
he see me? Wow, John.
For you.
Wow.
For those listening, John said, PD, that cheer caught up with you because where are you working
I know.
now?
You can catch me Tuesday, Thursdays lunch
Come
rush.
on, Steiner. That's a low blow.
Yeah, I'm at the
Oh my
I got the
God.
Buffalo Wild Wing
Roy.
rush lunch rush.
All right, well, back.
Might have to put you on probation, Steiner.
Wow.
So the
Truth hurts.
DraftKings Sportsbook app also believes that Team Canada has the best odds. You can pull up the odds there. Canada with the best odds at plus 130. I made that real small for myself. Wow. Team USA with the second best odds. What does that say? Plus 350. So followed by Russia, Sweden, and Finland in that order. So you can actually bet on the World Juniors on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. There's all sorts of things you can bet on, not just who's going to win the tournament. You can bet game by game. There's player props, just like there is for the NHL. So if you needed some more reason, as if we haven't convinced you enough to watch the World Juniors, bet on it too. Why not? Make it a little more fun for yourself. Maybe we should all put a little bit of money on Canada and the U.S. and that can be part of the wager.
Yeah.
Well, so if the USA wins, you'll have a bigger payout because it's.
I'm gonna take that actually will be my DraftKings pick of the week.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take
Okay.
Team USA to win gold at plus 350.
Okay, so
It's my
PD.
DraftKings pick of the week.
All right, PD's DraftKings pick of the week. Team USA to win gold. You heard it here.
At plus 350 on
All right.
the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
So what's the company bet here?
I don't know.
You
We
gotta
got to have
figure this
alcohol
out.
involved because if you want me interested, we got to have alcohol involved. So I don't know if we're getting each other like we're buying a 6-pack of our
But
favorite.
it's 2 versus 1, so like
Yeah, you're the one who decided to root for
That's true.
Canada.
That's
though.
true. That's
I didn't
that's true.
decide to be born in
We will
Canada.
share a 6-pack, and you'll get a 6-pack. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
That
Okay,
works.
fair.
Wait, a
All right.
6-pack of what?
Well, whatever. With the
Not
winner's
whatever.
choice.
Okay. That's,
Winner's choice.
All right.
I'll
And
get you
listen,
your
I don't
Hefeweizen.
drink IPAs.
But I'll go with you. I
You
do
don't
not drink IPAs either.
You have taste.
I will join whatever if it's pizza wine, which was phenomenal.
The pizza wine was good. Shout out to Carter Hutton once
Wow.
again.
Yes.
Tyler Alkins, thank you for the pizza wine.
Yes. Well, we will move forward with that bet. And if you want to bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can do so this week for the Christmas week. If you bet $5 on any NBA team and they win, you'll win $150 in free bets when you sign up using the promo code PHNX this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Also this week, all DraftKings Sportsbook customers can get in the Christmas spirit with a free holiday bet surprise. Everyone will get a free bet up to
Wow.
$50 instantly.
Oh boy, what's going on here?
We are
We
talking
are.
about gambling in the
Okay,
DraftKings
so
Sportsbook app.
PD's Secret
I was
Santa
just
is
complaining.
finally
I
delivered.
thought it was because I was a bad, naughty guy this year, and I got crickets.
I would like you to open this.
I
live
literally
on
got
there.
I got coal in my stocking. So this is my Secret Santa gift. This is it.
At
Yeah.
least it showed up for Christmas.
I'm dying.
Got to show everybody.
If you can't, it's a picture of Shane, the Diefmeister, Shane Diefmeister,
Spectacular. I
on
wonder
the
who your
Halloween
Secret
best show.
Santa-
Literally, that's going
I
up.
wonder who it's from.
My wife is going to be so happy that I'll go up in our bedroom, right next to our family photo. Positive energy, because that's what I come in with every day. Mr. Positive, for those that
Something
know
like
me
that,
and have
Pete.
been around
Something
me.
like that.
Actually, I should join that company. Probably.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
but do I know what this is?
Please show me.
I'm 53. I don't know what
can't
that
see
is. Sound reactive LED light strip. Does that go around my TV like my kid had in his dorms when he was 18? Yeah, that suits me. That's good. I'll have that lighting up the house in North Scottsdale. Again, my wife is going to be thrilled with my
God.
a little. Somebody stopped at the dispensary on the way up. A little cannabis with confidence. You guys saying I need to relax just a little bit? A little chill?
I'm literally crying.
Little chill? Thank you, Santa. Well, it looks like we're going down a new road later after the show. Cannabis with confidence. A little positive energy.
Oh, come on, Leah.
Well, Merry
segue out of this
Christmas.
I'm crying.
That is,
one. Oh, boy.
Yeah, the whole time you were talking about not getting your thing, I was like texting him, come in.
oh my goodness.
Oh my. Put
Merry
the
freaking
LED
Christmas.
around Shane's photo in,
In
the
the bedroom.
bedroom.
My wife right now, who's I'm sure dialed in listening with the in-laws, cannot wait to get the Deef Halloween picture.
That
up.
is, you got re-gifted a portrait of Shane.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll send it to Paula. Paula can put that up.
Yes.
I'm literally
should.
tears in my eyes. Oh my
All right.
God, I love
Well, let's get
holidays.
back to
Yes.
Are we done with DraftKings?
Well, I know I need to read the disclaimer.
Okay.
It didn't quite get there. Well, as a reminder, when you use the DraftKings Sportsbook app, that's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
Oh, you got through it. And we're talking about players. We talked about Dylan Guenther. The guys we haven't talked about so much in the rebuild is Shane Wright.
Yeah.
Like we got the next 2 number 1 draft picks, Shane Wright and Connor Bedard, playing in this tournament. And I think it's something that if you're talking about the rebuild, dial into these guys right now, because Shane Wright's going to be a factor in this tournament. And so get to know him, because maybe all things, knock on wood, ping pong balls, he falls our way in a year.
He hasn't had a great season so far. And there have been some questions. I still think he's the number 1 overall pick when it comes down to it. We hear this sort of talk every year going into the NHL. Oh, maybe it won't be
Yeah.
Connor McDavid. Of course it will be.
Yeah.
But he hasn't had a great start. So this could be a moment for him to, reassert his place as the clear number one overall.
Yeah, and I
pick.
think that's what you're going to see, and I really do. I think he is going to shine in this tournament. I think this is going to be where he steps up and becomes the player that we're all expecting him to be. That's what I believe.
Definitely, and Connor Bedard, a 16-year-old in this tournament.
Crazy.
We always talk about him being the projected number 1 overall in 2023. So, Coyotes fans, listen, the Coyotes are going to be in that mix, and there's a handful of other players that Coyotes fans should keep their eye on for the 2022 draft. If they don't get that first pick, there's a group of players who are kind of going to be in that top 5 mix that are playing in this tournament. So just to keep them on your radar, who should we start with? We got Logan Cooley on Team USA. So you can, if you're following the US and Canadian teams, he's on a lot of people's reports in the top 5 or 6 range. He's a Notre Dame commit, has 14 goals and 30 points in 20 games with the US National Development Program this season. So I can't take you seriously when you're sipping your Pellegrino.
I want to see. Here's what I think, Craig, because Craig's our go-to guy with name pronunciations.
Okay. Who do you want him to pronounce?
Well, no, I was thinking we should make you do all of these.
No, I'm not doing any of them. I'm just going to drink my
Myro-
Pellegrino.
I know. Ivan Miroshnichenko for
the Russians.
For the Russians.
Or not.
He's another big power forward. He's a skilled guy with a little speed and size. If that's where the Coyotes fall to, it's a guy that's going to be, he's going to be a top 10 draft pick. I don't know if he's going to be a guy that's going to crack the top 3, but strong and skill is something the Coyotes could always use. So it's a name you should look for.
Yeah, and when you're talking about a bigger player, to think about what Bill Armstrong's looking for, right? The profile of the team that he wants to build. Look at St. Louis, what he did there. Size matters. Size is going to matter in the Coyotes drafts.
Definitely. Also, Simon Nemec. There we go. He will be for Slovakia, so there's a fun one. He's has 13 assists in 22 games this season, has captained a Slovakia team before, won a tournament MVP for the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. So
he's a skilled defenseman, a higher end skilled defenseman that's going to put up numbers. I really believe, and again, maybe I'm wrong, I think the Coyotes are going to be looking for forwards up front early in this draft, specifically up the middle of the ice. So time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah. Joachim Kemmel, just guessing the pronunciation, for Finland. He's missed some time with injury, but the World Juniors is a good time for him to kind of get back in the mix. 12 goals, 18 points in 21 games with his team in the Liga. So keep an eye on him as well. That's kind of the list I had from the.
Yeah, I'd throw in a few more
prospects.
guys like
Go
Brad
for it.
Lambert is probably going to be on that list. Maybe a guy like Danila Yurov. And then, a guy that's been talked about a lot, Matvei Michkov.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. I think this is the type of event where he can really
because
elevate
he's been a guy that they've talked about.
Yeah.
Michkov, he's been a guy he's risen and fallen within the draft rankings throughout the season. Again, though, he's got highlight reel goals in the KHL. Like, this kid can play. The issue with him is he's got a KHL contract, and he's going to be in the KHL for a few years.
Yep.
So he's not going to be a guy that can get drafted and come out and join North American hockey right away. Some teams that need immediate help may shy away from him. The Coyotes don't necessarily fall under that, so they could potentially draft a player like that and wait for the future.
When they fall to 6 in the first round.
Craig. So if he dropped to 6, I want to pull that clip right now, and we're gonna.
Oh
Craig's
my
fault.
God! Well,
But besides those players, are there other players we should watch, Craig?
Of course there. I mean, there's a ton of players in this tournament. You know what I would recommend? Read some of the guys that do coverage of this nonstop. My buddy Chris Peters, who started his own Substack, but now is also writing for Daily Faceoff, does a fantastic job covering the World Junior Championship. And then, of course, Corey Proman from The Athletic. In fact, they did a podcast together, and it's a really good one to listen to as a primer for this tournament on some of the best players to watch, what some of the limitations are, really what you can take from an event like this. And we talked a little bit about this as well, the value of this for some of these players. But you also have to be cautious. Like if you're talking about a player that, like Marco Kasper for Austria, for example, is he really going to get a chance to shine here on a team that just doesn't have much
Yeah.
talent? They're not going to have the puck.
Yeah.
So how do you evaluate a player like that on a bad team? It's a tough situation for a player like that. So there are those cautions as well with some of the players. Slovakia is probably another team where you're like, I wouldn't read too much in. And Slovakia has several players actually that could factor in the draft, but this might not be the best time for them to shine.
Yeah, and there's some that have, you talked about it too, that have some Arizona connections too, and you've actually written about some of them.
Matthew Nyes is one of them. Yes.
Matthew Nyes.
Yeah.
And-
So
and-
if you're a Coyotes fan and you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch Logan Guenther, I'm gonna watch everyone you just said. What else do you want to watch for? Watch for some Arizona connections. It's really been cool to see, how the youth programs in Arizona. We talked about it so much yesterday on our tribute show with Matt Schott, and just the influence that he's had on the youth scene here in Arizona, and just to see that come to fruition with a lot more players, not just coming from the Sun Belt, but from Arizona specifically.
And this kid legit trained in Arizona.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
kid
Shane
that,
Doan loves this kid.
yeah, like he played. I watched him play at the ice den, and everybody would say, "Hey, watch that nice kid. Keep an eye on that nice kid. He's going to be a player." He played with Shane's son Josh. We watched them play together and grow up together. He trained here. Like Austin Matthews had a cup of coffee here and moved on and played
Right.
elsewhere. This kid trained here, and now he's playing at the University of Minnesota and in the Twin Cities, and he's putting up numbers. And he's a big kid.
Big, powerful.
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
kid-
16 points in 18 games.
He got
So far.
he's drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs, second rounder. Kid can play.
Toronto likes those Arizona born
know.
and
Great.
Apparently, yeah.
Great.
bred players.
Seriously, like why don't we talk about that? Like Matthews and Nyes, if they're both playing for Toronto and they're both from Arizona, what is wrong with
Well,
that
maybe
picture?
Nyes will be part of the deal
Oh,
we
yeah.
get when we take when Austin Matthews comes over
Leah playing GM. I like that. Future GM.
from the Leafs.
That's a good deal. Get them
You know?
both here. But it's exciting to see how far hockey has progressed in the Valley, where their kids don't have to leave at 12 and 13 to play somewhere else to become a guy that's going to get
Do you
drafted.
think we could ever see a situation? ACU already has a program, so that helps. You have a Division I program in town, so kids can go to the university and they can consider the USHL route, like a lot of kids do for a couple of years, then go the NCAA route. Do you think we could ever get to the point in the USHL where we could have more teams in the West, so that you could have like like the AHL does, a Pacific Division? Could that ever fly?
I mean, you have to look at numbers and
Yeah.
cost and expenses. There's no reason they can't. I mean, one of the things I've heard rumored, and you could have, the Shattuck St. Mary's model that's in Minneapolis, or not Mary's, it's Faribault, but
Yeah.
in Minnesota, and you get these kids from all over North America playing there. I could see something like that happening in Arizona, where you have more of like a hockey academy, more so than a league. To build a league here, the travel expenses in the USHL, it's mostly done by bus.
Right.
You're very
Yeah.
close and
Right.
you can travel easy. The problem with doing something in Arizona, I guess if you go Vegas, LA, you potentially, I don't think they're there.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that it couldn't happen far in
For
down
sure.
the road.
We're talking about kids getting drafted in
Yeah,
Arizona
it's
and
insane.
playing an NCAA hockey out of Arizona. These are things we didn't talk about 10 years
Yeah.
ago. So absolutely anything can happen. ASU's got a Division I college hockey
I
program.
know.
So absolutely anything can happen. Hockey just continues to grow here. So
Yeah.
anything can happen.
And we talk about, because of the Coyotes being here for, 25 years, and some players choosing to retire here, so they're having their kids here, born here, and there's a few sons of former Coyotes also in this tournament. Also, some of them born in Arizona. Red Savage, which, by the way, is that not one of the greatest
Red
names?
Savage.
You know how he got the name, right?
No.
His brother, they asked his older brother what he wanted to call his baby brother before he was born, and he kept saying Big Red, and it was, of course, after Clifford the Big Red Dog. That's how Red
You've gotta
Savage
be
got his
kidding me.
name. Yeah,
Oh my
See,
god.
that's the kind of stuff you need to know that you
It's a
only
fun
can get
little
at
fact.
PHNX.
Yeah, for
yeah. And
real.
listen, Red wasn't here as long. I think he left when he was 12 or 13.
But still, like,
he
learn to
he grew up
skate
in-
and
yeah,
like
he
all of
played
that
there.
happens.
Yeah, and he's
here.
got the connections here to the
Yeah.
Valley.
And Brian Savage, of course, played for the Coyotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that's great. And we talked about another connection is not in the tournament is Josh Doan. He's a guy that went to camp over the summer, and his name was thrown out there. Someone that might play in this tournament. He just didn't get to the next round.
We've talked a lot about Josh Doan being a late bloomer because he, the body grew late, and he developed at a different rate than anyone else. He learned to play the game as a skill player, and then he got this big body that he's still growing into, still learning to use. The thing that I heard about Josh at the camp more than anything, it was the pace of play. And listen, we've heard talk about his skating, how it needs improvement, but that can come in time. We'll see how he develops. Now, I don't think he can add too much to your skating at this point, but it's definitely improving for him. But that was the one thing that I think held him back when he was at that camp, was the pace of play. He wasn't keeping up with some of those other players. And again, this is a really talented roster. This is the best of the best. It doesn't mean that Josh couldn't compete with these guys. You know, it's an inexact science when you're selecting these teams anyway, right? Because you have this tiny period of time. And
it's hard, especially in the pandemics
mistakes.
too. Like the pandemic, it changes the number of games you're playing. These kids didn't have a full season a year ago. Yeah, you know, it's okay if you don't make this tournament.
Right, exactly. It's not the be all end all.
Right. I mean, you know, you talk Tyler Boucher, Brian Boucher's former goaltender. His son was a kid drafted 10th overall last year. He didn't make the final roster for Team USA either. So there's some guys that get disappointed. Another Coyote son that did make it though was Jake Sanderson, Jeff Sanderson's son,
named captain.
And it's funny because if you remember, Jeff Sanderson here was a diminutive. Is that a fair word?
Yeah, sure.
He's a smaller, skilled guy, incredibly cerebral, but his son's over 6 feet and can play with a little bit more pace and size.
5th overall draft pick too. So
there's some names you can watch for, former Coyote guys. So
yeah, just trying to tie it all together for you to watch. Wow, we got through a lot. I know I really want to show this picture. So Petey was on an under 18 team.
This is actually the first
1985.
The first team under 18 team. They didn't do the Helinka.
Look at those pads.
They did not do the Helinka tournament back in those days. This is the first time Team USA, some people got together and said, hey, let's get our young kids playing in a program to develop them. We played a 2-game series against Team Canada and absolutely got blown out by Team Canada 2 games in a row. I actually, in my goalie gears, I actually got pulled after the first period.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Theo Fleury got a hat trick on me in the first period, and
Buddy, how much did those pads weigh once they got
I don't know. They were heavy deer hair Coopers. A good tan, though, middle of the summer. Just tanned up there in Colorado Springs.
Oh, my God.
There's some good players on the team. Brian Leach, who's going to be potential Hall of Famer. Jimmy Carson, who was in the Gretzky trade. Tom Fitzgerald, who's the general manager of the Islanders now. So it was my one and only brief moment to play for Team USA. It was a big deal.
It's pretty cool, though, to ever put on that jersey.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
It's extremely cool.
Really cool.
And I must say, I know I sit here and I cheer for Team Canada. It's really cool to see how much success that Team USA has had and how much just American hockey has grown. That's all I want, is for everyone to play hockey, everyone to love hockey, and to see it grow in the U.S. and in the Sun Belt and in Arizona. It's awesome.
It's cool to have the rivalry, right?
It's
so great.
And have it be competitive.
Yes.
And yeah, I love it. So, you know, I cheer for Canada, but if Canada, for some reason, didn't make it to the gold medal game and it was U.S. versus someone, I would cheer for the U.S.
And everybody,
I'm a dual citizen.
Yeah, I follow both teams because that's where the draft picks. I mean, draft picks are going to come from all of these teams. We talked about Russia and Finland and Sweden for sure. The tournament kicks off the 26th, the day after Christmas. Both teams have their preliminary first game. The USA plays Slovakia. Canada plays we're not calling them Czech Republic anymore. Craig, what are we calling them? Czechia? Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's Czechia, I think. It's not the Czech Republic.
Is it Czechia?
Yeah, sure.
I didn't even know that. So.
Yeah, it's not the Czech Republic anymore.
It's interesting because when you talk to the players, like when you talk to Verby or Marty Hansel, when they refer to home, they never say the Czech Republic. They always just say back in Czech.
Yeah.
That's all they say.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
I don't know what drove all that, but yeah, it is.
So the tournament starts on the day after Christmas.
Sunday.
On Sunday, dial in. It's on the NHL Network here in the States. I don't think they have all games, but they have all the Americans, and I think most of the Canadians.
Yeah, I think so.
What are the pools again? What's the breakdown?
Oh, gosh.
Come on.
Group A, Finland, Germany, Czechia, Canada, Austria. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yep. Then Sweden, Slovakia, USA,
Russia,
and the Swiss.
Okay.
They're in Group B.
So before we sign off, give me your medal projections: gold, silver, bronze.
I'm worried, and I'll tell you why. I want nothing more as a hockey fan living in North America for a USA Canada final. Like that's I want to see them play in the finals on January 5th. I'm worried about Canada losing a medal round game because they do it every year and they come in as a lower seed. I'm worried they're going to have to play the Americans in the semis, which puts the Americans in the bronze medal game, which is just too darn bad. So I'm going to go Canada, Finland, USA.
Wow, that's exactly what I have. That's exactly my projection.
That's my DraftKings head, not my heart. My heart's got red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
The Americans.
Well, I feel like I should do something different just to
Okay.
mix it up. But I have to say Canada number 1 because that's the
sure.
bet. But we'll just pretend that your scenario doesn't happen, and we'll just be a little bit more wishful, and we'll go Canada, U.S. Well, I don't want to say Finland because both of you did. Russia, why not?
Okay.
There we go.
Throw it in.
Well, and
They're
we'll
definitely
follow
in that
this
mix,
along.
and Sweden's in the mix.
We're
too.
hopefully doing live shows Monday and Tuesday. We hope we have
We
games
hope
to
we're
watch.
talking about
And
Coyotes.
we're back to hockey again.
I'll
And
be
if
in
it
Southern
is,
California.
we will be touching on this tournament in our shows, at least giving updates in the
Yeah.
standings and scoring, so
Yeah.
we can follow along if you're not
and
watching.
we'll follow
it at home.
along with Dylan Guenther too because I think
he's
it's
playing on his home rink too. So let's
Yeah.
make sure we make that point as well.
Yeah.
The fact that he gets to play at Rogers, he's familiar. This is a potential moment for Dylan Guenther to really shine.
Yeah,
so
and we saw
hopefully he enjoys it.
Barrett Hayton shine 2 years ago. We'll hopefully see Dylan Guenther shine this year. Craig's also been following the Coyotes prospects. You can check out his prospect report on Dylan Guenther at gophnx.com. If you're not a member, be sure to sign up so you can get access to all of that. We have another episode of Down the I-10 with Leah and Petey coming to you tomorrow.
And Potts.
Yeah, with associate coach of
Love
the Roadrunners, Steve Potvin, who actually talked about coaching Matthew Nyes. So there's a little tie-in for you. So you can check that out tomorrow on our PHNX Sports YouTube channel. It will also be an audio episode. So please follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow and subscribe and review us on wherever you get your podcasts. Every review and rating helps us tremendously. So we appreciate that greatly. We also have a Christmas episode coming for you on Christmas Day. So if you're waking up early on Christmas morning or need to take a walk to take a break from your family and plug in your headphones and listen to.
Talk about Craig's love of trees.
Yes, Craig
Or
is
for
very
trees.
passionate about trees.
Right.
That
Just a
will be
respect
coming.
for life, Petey. That's how I put
I
it.
appreciate it.
Just a lot coming your way, and we hope that we're back
Talking
covering
hockey.
Coyotes hockey next week.
I hope so.
We'll see.
I hope we are.
We'll see. But as always, you can use the Draftkings Sportsbook app to bet on the World Juniors, on whatever you like. Use the promo code PHNX when you sign up. Bet $5 on an NBA team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. It seems like it's like he died and you're like holding this in his memory.
Yep.
And if you want betting help, Shane does host the betting show.
The betting show every day.
Every day, Monday through Friday at noon, PHNX Bets Daily. So check that out too. I've actually learned a lot about betting on that show. This is the last time the three of us are going to be together until Craig's going out of town.
Merry Christmas, Dan. Dan, we haven't seen Dan in a while.
No, hi Dan. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. And we hope you have some lovely time with your family. And I know a lot of people have been getting their shirts, so continue to tweet those at us. If you get a shirt for Christmas, let us know. Tweet at us at PHNX_Coyotes. And we'll see everyone hopefully for a post-game Coyotes show next week.
On Monday.
But either way, we'll be back with you next
week.
week. Happy holidays, everyone, and happy World Juniors.